Hi, everybody. Today is week 2, or this week is week 2 in our OB course, and we are lucky enough to have Lisa Spicola here tonight from the library, who is going to kick off our literature review process with step 1, searching for articles. So Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Wonderful. And so as was just alluded to a moment ago, in your ULearn course site, you do have that library and research help guide. And that's what I have on my screen right now. Mine looks a little bit different because it's the direct web and not the guide that's embedded in yours. So what I wanted to do with this time is just to uh, briefly walk you through what I have in this guide if you haven't explored it yet, and point out some key things for you. I also want to hear from you as to what you're most concerned about for starting your annotated bibliography and finding the articles that you need. Sometimes it's the keywords that people are most concerned about. And if that's the case tonight, we can talk a little bit about how to figure out your keywords, how to really hone in on those research articles that will be most helpful for your research and, thinking directly about your annotated bibliography assignment. So let me start off with just the guide itself. The very first tab, the welcome tab, is where I've kind of made all the connections for you. So you can get to the library from this page. You can make a research appointment with me, clicking on my name, chat with any librarian. So that opens up the chat box. You're always welcome to reach out to me, email me, and some of you have already been doing that anytime. If you want a more immediate response, then it's helpful to reach out to any librarian, and chat is the way to do that. If you make a research appointment with me, and I'm going to click on my name just to show you what that looks like. You're going to notice that my availability is a little bit limited. I, as the director of the library, I try to really limit when I have availability. And thinking about your schedules as doctoral students, what I did was I made sure that I was available earlier in the day and later. So 8 a.m. is the earliest that I work. And then like Thursday, for example, if you click on a Thursday, you'll see that I have appointments, 5 o'clock would be the latest one. Having said that, I know you guys all have very busy schedules. So if you feel like if you've gone into this research appointment system and you're like, there's nothing here, I need to meet with her at 6 o'clock. By all means, please email me and we'll figure out a time together. I'm really comfortable with meeting with doctoral students, 7 a.m. if we have to. I've met with a couple of people like on Saturday mornings. So if you feel like my typical Monday through Friday schedule is not working, just email me and we'll definitely figure out something that'll work for both of us, okay? All right, so if I go back to the guide, the second tab, understanding scholarly articles. So I've given you those just some basic help in understanding the peer review process, the different types of scholarly articles that you're going to find in research journals. What else do I have here? How to read a scholarly article. Now you've already taken your research class, so you should all feel pretty comfortable with all of this at this point. But if you just feel like you're missing something, there's a little bit of a gap in your understanding, this is going to be just a really good, quick place to go. You can always, just YouTube, you could always search for a video that will explain certain things. But I do have just a few here that I really like I really like how they explain things, and particularly how to read the scholarly article. I find like that's a good one because she really, the librarian walks you through an actual page and what it looks like and everything. So that's there if you feel like you have a gap in your understanding. Finding articles, so just getting to the meat of like where to search. So these are some key databases. You probably, I assume, have been using Google Scholar. And I also have that listed further down. Here we go. I actually gave you, I've embedded a Google Scholar search box here too. Um, but my slides here are offer to tell you the things that the features of Google Scholar. They're like the most important things, like getting your citation off of there. But even more importantly, it tells you what articles have cited a specific article. So that's something we can look at tonight too together, as we could do a search in Google Scholar if you feel like that's an area that would be helpful. So I highly recommend when you're starting to look for articles, let me just go back up to the top, finding articles, that Google Scholar is a great place to start. And on the library website, searching the articles tab. So here we are back on the main library website, and just searching in the articles tab. So the EBSCO. This is going to search lots of different databases all at once from our vendor EBSCO. It includes the business database, it includes the psychology database, it includes an academic database, education, hospitality. So if you're working in the area of hospitality and tourism, there's also a database devoted to that. So this is another really great place to kind of start. So Google Scholar, the EBSCO articles tab. Also on that page, I've given you some key databases that you can go into directly. So if you hadn't been using Emerald Insight up to this point, this is a really great database for your purposes, because it's all scholarly management-based articles. Emerald is picked up by Google Scholar. So if you're searching Google Scholar, you are automatically searching Emerald Insight.
I just want to add one quick note. Lisa
Yes.
mentioned
Yep.
a few times, but I want to make sure everybody. So we are using scholarly articles in this class. I know in the previous course you were able to use dissertations, and we are not using dissertations in this class. So it's all journal articles and scholarly articles, not trade articles. They have to be from peer-reviewed journals, which when you are searching these databases, that's pretty much what you're getting anyway. Also no books. We're not using books for this. If you have a one-off, a one book and a one trade article, I'm fine with that. But generally, we're trying to stay with scholarly articles from these journals. Just wanted to get that in there.
And so those are, two really great places to go. And then the third one is the dissertation. So if you were looking for dissertations, we have a separate database for just dissertations. So for example, I do have a link here to back to the library website, back to the databases. On the library website, you notice that one of the main tabs in the top is databases. And so if I go to the database list, if you haven't been here before, this is a great place for you to explore to make sure that you are hitting upon all of the specialized databases. Like I said, between Google Scholar and the EBSCO article search box on the library page are picking up most of the databases for you, but not all of them. So if you're on this page, you notice that we have, 90 different databases for all different disciplines, but you can just select in the all subject pull down. You can just select like the business databases, for example. Or if you are really, focused on, say, a hospitality area, food service management, you could go a little bit deeper. So, for example, hospitality, these are the 15 databases that are, best for hospitality articles, or information, I should say. Some of these databases include not only scholarly articles, but also magazine articles, newspaper articles. Some of these are databases, they might be marketing databases or industry profiles. So different databases provide different information. It's not all going to be the scholarly research articles that you're really focused in on this particular class. But just it's good to know that all of these different databases are here for you. Going back to your guide, we also have a couple of databases that are on a pay-per-view model, and I think some of you may have already run into that in your other classes. And what that means is it looks like we don't have access, but it just requires that you send an email to the library to ask for access to it, and then we get access and give it to you. So Taylor and Francis articles fall into that. So if you're on a, let me show you what that looks like if you haven't been there before. Oh, this is sending me to the FAQ that tells you what to do. So you found an article in the Taylor and Francis page, and it says you can't have it or you pay $30. This is the FAQ that tells you just email the information to the library email account, and then we will send it back to you. Has anybody experienced that yet?
I have, but I haven't done this. I go into the request through my own library.
Yeah,
I'm keeping your folks busy.
that's
I run
great.
into this a lot.
So is it Dina or Dinah?
Yes, Dina.
Dina. So what Dina's doing is she's using the interlibrary loan button in the library system, and then behind the scenes, Joe, our interlibrary loan librarian, says, "Oh, I can get this through Taylor and Francis." So it works either way. Absolutely. When in doubt, just request it, and then they'll take care of it.
Yeah, I've also
Um,
used the interlibrary
okay.
loan program, and they've been very quick and very good customer service there.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
We have one librarian, Joe, who does the interlibrary loan. So if you put in a request, like on a late Friday afternoon, they will probably not see that request until Monday. So sometimes there can be a really quick turnaround. Sometimes it can be even less than 24 hours, and sometimes it can be, 3, 4, 5 days. It's also, the interlibrary loan system is also contingent on how quickly Joe is able to find another library that's willing to loan it to us, or, give us the copy. So it really can vary. But you should always see, you'll always get an email from Interlibrary Loan. It's Joe behind the scenes, and never hesitate to reach out to them or to any librarian if you feel like, what's taking so long, or I'm not sure if this article, I don't know if this interlibrary loan went through. If you have a question about your interlibrary loan, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, so just again on this guide, finding articles, I've just put a couple of key databases that DBA students use a lot. It's not everything. And then, of course, I've given you some tips down here. And actually, I'll do an example of an interlibrary loan in a moment. Okay. Yep. So if you were looking for dissertations, this is the best place to go. If you were looking for examples of dissertations from other JWU students, you could go directly into Scholars Archive and look there. And then we've given you some examples of different dissertations in your, at the DBA level. You know, what does a systematic review look like in the social sciences? What does a qualitative research study look like? So I've given you some examples. Have a tab here for lit reviews. This is just another library's just kind of introduction to lit reviews, you know, why you do them and how you do them. Did I put something else here? Yeah, so this is kind of this is a preview of what you're going to get from me when you are moving into your dissertation phase. I do a lit review workshop with DBA students. So that's like, it's almost like, I don't even know if I really need to put that there, but it's what you're going to see from me. And I don't know, Julie, is that like another 6 months or something, or a year? I guess it'd be a year. Right.
In terms of dissertation,
Yeah, I'm losing track here of where you all are. So yeah, when would they do the essentials workshop?
yeah, so they are in just their third course, so year one. So the essential workshops will probably start for you at the beginning of year two, I'm not sure exactly because we've been combining the annual cohorts into one essentials group. It's just flows better. So some point in year two. So they've got a while.
Right. Okay. Yep. So that's what that is. That's kind of a preview of what's to come. I have tab for APA style. If you're just looking for immediate questions on how to cite something or how to format your paper, I love the APA style blog. I think APA has really stepped up their game, and every question I possibly can have about APA, I find directly on their website. So you can see the different categories here. So, you know, even if you just wanted to know how to, how to cite an interview or something, you can go right to this website, and I don't know what that would be, a textual or what that would be, but so you can see all the different types of all the different categories, and it gives you an example of what that type of citation would look like, as well as the parenthetical, the in-text citation. So that so there's a good resources here. And then I've also included the reference management tools. So I don't know, has anyone started to use some type of a system? Zotero is the one that we like to recommend because it's free and easy to use.
Yeah, I started using Zotero in my MBA, and it came in very handy.
Good. So you're kind of thinking that if you start, you're continuing to use it now, or you might pick up on it again.
I have the hype, or the what do you call it? The extension built into my browser.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that, because what will happen is when you have something on your screen, I assume you have Chrome. You have the Chrome extension, or is it something
Safari
else?
extension.
Okay, so Chrome also, I have it on my Chrome, and it'll allow you to seamlessly take the resource, the article or whatever that's on that page, and it will put it into your Zotero account. So on this page, I've given you oh, wait a minute, where is it? Oh, okay. The guide for using Zotero. This is just, I love, if I could just meet Jason Puckett and say thank you so much for creating this free guide. He is the guru. He's written a book about Zotero, and every question you could possibly have about using Zotero as a tool for putting all of your resources together in one place, and that includes not only the metadata or the citation information, but also the actual full text. You can make connections between different articles, find themes. So if you find like 4 different articles talk about, you know, employee retention, you could tag them all as employee retention. It just really helps you make connections between, you know, all of your different resources or different sources. It's free to use. You can download it to your own device. But as Zach said, there are lots of different there's different extensions with your browsers that you can very seamlessly add stuff into Zotero. And that includes the databases. So if you're searching, you know, an EBSCO database, you can seamlessly add an article into your Zotero. So if that type of organization works for you, I would definitely recommend that you look into using some type of reference management system. And so again, touting Zotero because it's free, or at least the free version is enough. It does a lot for you. I mean, Zach, do you feel like you had to add any additional memory or anything?
No, I don't
Yeah.
think it's like Grammarly where you basically have to upgrade to the pro version at this level of education. Zotero, I think you can get away with all of the features with the free version.
That's my understanding. Yeah, definitely.
I just wanted to say, first of all, I didn't know about this guide. That's awesome. So thank you for bringing that up tonight. But just be careful whether you're using Zotero, Microsoft Word reference function, you know, whatever program you are using, they don't 100% bring in every citation correctly. So it is still important that you understand what the citation should look like and that you're checking them. Honestly, at this point, I don't expect you to be experts on this. It's your 3rd course, and citations are one of those things that in grad school, they probably didn't even make sure, you know, if like you had a citation, you were probably good to go. So I don't expect you to be experts, but we are really going to focus on citations in this course as part of our technical focus, because again, like I keep saying, the more you can just be aware of and realize now, it just makes everything easier along the way. And it may be a while before you're a citation expert, but we will walk through and we'll do an exercise that's interactive. It might be next week, I think it is, or if not, the week after, but we'll walk through so that just to help you get more comfortable. But the point of that is just be careful when you're using the foolproof citation sites that you may still have some times where it brings in something incorrectly.
Definitely is such a good point to make. And that's with any computer generated citation. It might put it in wrong, like it might put it all in capitals, or it might be missing a date or something. Yeah, definitely need to still double check it, which is why I love APA Styles website for that, because you know, at this point, I can create a citation for a journal article, but I can't do it for a conference proceeding. I still have to look that up. I try not to put that stuff in my brain. And so I find this is really good.
Lisa, that's a great point too, because I say this all the time in my announcements, like my brain cannot hold all of this stuff. And so there's certain things I've got down really well. I can do that. There's other things I have to look up 3 times a day in the APA manual because I just don't have enough room in my brain. And so you'll start to learn which things you need to, like, I got to be able to just visually know something's off there. Even if I don't know what, I can go check, but I know something is off. And then which things, you know, you don't need to know, and which things you need to know by exact standard.
Right. Yeah, I'm reading the book, The Organized Mind, dealing with information overload. And he talks about using an external brain or external memory. Like, don't put stupid things in your brain. Write that down, you know. All the things you have to do today, write it on a list. Don't keep recycling it in your brain all day. So I always feel like citations are kind of that thing. Like, I know where to look that up. I can go find that. And before you know it, it's automatic, you know, like you're going to be able to eyeball a citation, a journal article citation, and say, that's wrong. You know, there's something missing there. So it comes naturally.
Lisa, quick question. I think
Yeah.
I've never heard of Zotero before. Is
Okay.
that in place of a literature review matrix? Because in Dr. Hood's class, on some of the additional readings, there were these ginormous spreadsheets where you could, as I'm pulling my own up, you could put down things like author, date, title, purpose, research questions, theoretical frameworks, methods, designs. And maybe I spent winter break creating a monster of a database with dissertations, peer-reviewed articles, and business articles to pull all that. So I wasn't sure if Zotero was an online version of that where it's much easier to look up, because right now I'm doing a lot of sorting and filtering and color coding, but that's how my brain works anyway. And am I making myself crazy in my third course? And should I pivot now? Well, I've already got 48 things in here. Or
I think what you are talking about is something more
More in
more
depth.
detailed, more granular, like it sounds like really what you are being training your brain to do is to make those connections between different research articles and picking out what is really key to what you need.
yeah,
Whereas
because I was
a reference
thinking about the
management software is more of an
methodologies
organizer.
yeah, because I'm looking at like theoretical frameworks and methodologies so I can start to hone in.
Dina, what it sounds like you're doing. So I'm old school. I am color coordinated. I use Excel because it just works for my brain. But the newer, I wouldn't say the newer, they're all updated now, but the qualitative software, and you guys will have qualitative this summer too. You may have it with me, although I think yeah, you may have it with me. I don't know. But anyway, it's the new qualitative software. I keep saying new, sorry, the updates in qualitative software. You can actually use it to do what you're talking about, where you can code and categorize and have comments, and then you can make maps that connect all your articles in one. So you can do all of that in a high-tech way, or at least high-tech to me, in qualitative software. You can do it the old-fashioned way in a matrix on paper and make it work for you as well. So I would say Zotero is not that. It is a way to categorize your articles, which is great. But, and you know what, you probably could do most of it in Zotero because you probably could write the notes and have it in there. But I think you're probably still going to need that other piece that gives you more detail and connections, like a matrix would.
Yeah, because what you're describing is really focusing in on the content of the material, whereas Zotero is really focused more on the metadata and keeping it organized.
Yeah, I would say Zotero, at least the way I use it, is more like a trail, like a breadcrumb trail that leads you from all the places that you've been where you've collected data when you're doing research, so that you can get back there easily and quickly and not have to do those, searches again and remember those authors. But it sounds like what you're doing is going a step further, and then, putting a lot of the additional information that relates to the content in those articles with those references. Zotero doesn't really do that.
Thank you all. I'm sorry for taking you down a rabbit hole.
That was a really good question. Thank you. No, absolutely really good. Okay, so and I realized I was going to show it to you, but I'm on a new different laptop, so I'm going to have you just showing me that I have to upload my Zotero again. But Zotero is like it's web-based, but it's also on your computer. So that's the other nice thing about a lot of these reference management systems, is that you can use it from computer to computer. You don't have to stay on your one device for it. The last tab I have on your guide is just a catch-all on help and tips. I've kind of repeated a couple things just because it's so important. What to do with ILL and all that kind of stuff. So I'd probably be adding some new things as time goes on with that too. Okay, so I wanted to quickly walk you through an example of interlibrary loan tonight, but can you tell me, well, I guess I should start with that. And then I'm going to have you ask me any specific questions that we can kind of walk through. But the interlibrary loan service, I have a little blurb here about how to locate a full text article. And this is kind of a common problem that people fall into of, I've just found a really great article, but I don't know how to get the full text. And so the quickest way to do that is really just to go to the library's website and put the title into that box, into the everything box, and locate it. So that's what I'm gonna, excuse me, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I should have an example here. Let's see. What is this? Is this actually a book, Leader Development for Transforming Organizations? Let me see if this comes up. Sometimes we have trouble with the off-campus access. So if you've ever seen this before, this authentication required box, continuing as a guest seems to work smoothly. Like if you try to sign in, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know if anyone has experienced that, but continuing it as a guest will be okay. Okay, so I'm kind of assuming that this title I have in here is an actual title. So let's say I'm trying to look for a book called Leader Development for Transforming Organizations. And when I put it into the everything search box on the library page, it's not coming up. It really should pop up to the top. So what I would need to do at this point is expand my search. So right now, the system is defaulting to just what is available through JWU's resources. So what you would want to do is expand it out libraries worldwide. So if you've had that experience where you're looking for something in the system and it doesn't come up, it's because the system is defaulting to Johnson & Wales. So now I want to expand my search out and I want to see if I can find a book or an article called Leader Development for Transforming Organizations. And there it is. It was actually a book. So you can see that it came right up once I searched for libraries worldwide, which means it's not available here. It's available someplace else. So if it was an article, we could very easily request it through interlibrary loan, but we are not able to borrow ebooks from other libraries. It's just a standard practice. The vendors, just with their licensing restrictions, they do not allow us to share ebooks. So if you find a book within the system, if you find something that's an ebook, you're not going to be able to get it. If you happen to live near campus, you could always do interlibrary loan for a physical book. So let's just say that I want to see if it's available someplace else, or maybe a different format. Maybe there's a different edition or something. That's where you would want to click on worldwide editions and formats to see what's available. And then it will show you all the different versions. So in this case, there is a hard copy that I could get from somewhere in ebooks. But let me go back. So if I want to do interlibrary loan, it's always going to be found on the right-hand side under access options. This is set up. It's not giving me that option because it is an ebook, but if it was an article, it would have a button here that would say request through interlibrary loan. And that is really the easiest way to locate a full text article. Again, searching the title within the library's everything search box on the library website and just following the links and to see what the access is. Are there any other questions about using interlibrary loan, or any challenges that you've had that maybe I can work through? All right, so I'm going to go back to the guide that's embedded in your ULearn site. And I want to hear from you. So what, when you think about your annotated bibliography assignment, is there anything that you're unsure as to how you're going to search for information, search for these articles? Or is there something that you've been challenged with when you're looking for scholarly information that I can help with?
Hey, Lisa, I do have one question. When we did a one-on-one session a couple months ago, you showed me how in Google Scholar to find authors that have cited the author that you're currently looking for. And then it
Mhm.
had like a ranking in there that showed the number of times that that person had been cited
Mhm.
to find like foundational works.
Yep.
Can you point that out again?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
That's a
So let's go to,
great thing to do. Thank you, Zach.
yeah.
Because a lot of times students will ask, how do I know which works are seminal? Because the majority of the literature that you collect between now and the end of your dissertation, and really ever, should be from within the last 5 to 7 years. 5 generally, 7 okay, 10 okay, maybe some. However, there are seminal works that might be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old that are still worth bringing in as a source. Then you may want to provide updated sources who have cited those works since then. But it's hard to know which ones are the more revered works. So Lisa, you can help us understand maybe how we can figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. All I need is a topic. Who wants to do your research for you tonight? First one wins.
All right. If nobody's gonna go, how about let's look at let's do motivation, because that's such an easy one.
Okay.
Can be like employee motivation or
So
what
do we want to do, I was going to say, yeah, employees.
do employee motivation, yeah. This should give us Hardsburg and all those people.
Okay, so just 3 million articles to look at.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you've never used Google Scholar, I highly recommend that you go back into my guide and you look at the slides. And really the key things, probably everything we're going to look at right now together is going to be in that slide, just to let you know the different features. But first of all, if you've never been in Google Scholar, you want to let Google Scholar know that you are affiliated with certain libraries so that it will show you, it will give you links to your library resources where full text is available. So I don't even see any on the side, but they would be on the right-hand side. Let me see if I can find a for example. Of course, I haven't been, you know what? I haven't been, I've had this work computer for less than a month. I haven't used Google Scholar, so who knows if it even knows that I'm part of JWU. So I'm going to go into my settings. I'm going to go into my menu on the side. I'm going to go into my settings and I'm going to go to library links. Oh my gosh, look at that. So, it doesn't know that I'm affiliated with Johnson & Wales. So what I'm going to do is, just stick in Johnson & Wales. There's 2 different Johnson & Wales that you want to locate. So ultimately you should have 3 things checked off. And what this is going to do is Google is going to show me anytime that articles that come up in the list are available full text to a library subscribed resource, it's going to give me that link. You can do up to, it used to be 5. You could do up to 5 links here. Oh, choose up to 5. So if you are affiliated with another library or you have a partner that's affiliated with another library, put that in so that when something comes up that you want to be able to look at, you'll know where you can find it full text.
Lisa, are you on campus right now or at home?
I am not.
Okay, good.
which is why it's like.
No, that's okay. I was just curious because an alert just came out for campus. I just wanted to be sure you were aware or not there, so.
Oh, I thought it was spam. I ignored it.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So now that it knows that I'm part of JWoo, it's going to show me which articles are full text through our subscribed databases. So you can see this one popped right up, and I can just click right through it and go right to that database, wherever it is in the databases, it will take me there. So it's telling me that this particular article is it's part of a Harvard Business School publication. It's telling me that it can be found in the database Business Source Complete, and it's giving me a full text link to go right to it. So it should all seamlessly just link right to that full text when you're in Google Scholar. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to go back. So when you have a list of articles, you'll notice that, first of all, the citation button. So you're always going to be able to get the APA through Google Scholar. And again, check to make sure it's complete. But my favorite thing is the cited by, and this is what Zach was just referring to. So this first article has been cited by 28 other articles, and I can click there and it will give me the list of all those articles that cite that particular article. Now, if I go down, I notice that here's an article that has been cited 737 times. So that's giving me some kind of clue that this article, for whatever reason, has some value within the topic. And that's one way that you can discover seminal work. So if you find a cited by that's like 1,000, 10,000, you've probably hit on a seminal work, or at least something that's close to the seminal work. I'm just looking to see quickly if there's anything else here that's really big. So if I go back to, I'll go back to the 737. So here is an article from the International Journal of Business and something else. And if I click the cited by, we've got the whole list of 737 articles. Do I want to look through 700? No. But I can hone in on articles that talk about my own specific interest. So what I can do is I can specify search within all of these 737 articles. I can check that off. And then I can put my own particular keyword. So, within, we had done motivation, so I might do that again. And I might even add something else like, retention. And that way, now it's showing me of the 737 articles that cited that other article, 212 of them mention motivation and retention. So Google Scholar is so helpful at helping you identify other articles that have addressed the topic that you're interested in. So in this case, this particular article might have been interesting to me, and then I would want to see, oh, who cited this article? Not all of these 700 articles are going to be the same topic, but that's what the searching box is helpful for, because you can target the articles that cited this article that are about your topic. There was something else I was going to say about that. So, I've completely lost it. The other thing that I wanted to say is you can always check the related articles. It can take you down a rabbit hole, but especially if you're feeling like you're just looking for, you're having trouble finding anything, that particular feature might point you in the right direction. I think did you also mention something about authors a couple of minutes ago, Zach? So another kind of neat thing is you can find out what work a particular author has done that's been picked up by Google Scholar by looking at their Google Scholar profile. And the way to know if an author has a profile is if their name is underlined. So in this case, BJ Alley, who did this article that was, or let me go to this one, cited 737 times. Jacob Sherian, or J Sherian, is one of the authors of this particular article that was cited 737 times. So you might be interested in like, oh, are they kind of an expert in this area? Have they done a lot of work, a lot of research? We can click on that and we get their profile. So we learned that this researcher is a professor in Dubai, and that these are all the different areas of research specialty that he has. And then a listing of all of his work that is picked up through Google Scholar in order of how often they've been cited. So his article that's been highlighted, that's been cited the most is green marketing. So you may find one of his well-known research articles, but then you might come across other articles that he's written about that are also helpful for your area of study. And if you really wanted to go down a rabbit hole, you could look to see who he has worked with. So here are his co-workers. His co-authors. You could go and look at the different co-authors. This is, one way that you can kind of get to know the scholarly community. Who are the players within this topic? Who should you be looking at? Who should you be following? If you're get in really deep, then you could, go to their, if they're a professor or somewhere, you could go to their work page, their faculty page, and find out more, find out what they're working on now, find out what presentations are doing. That obviously isn't something you're looking for this particular assignment in this particular class, but know that you can really go deep and learn a lot about the experts in certain fields. And the last thing you can do on this page to get to those experts is to click through their research categories. So I assume HRM is Human Resources Management, I assume. And so you can see who else has identified themselves as being researchers in those fields. And, like, wow, okay, Patrick Wright has been cited 74,000 times for his work. That you might want to follow that. You might want to go find out what he did, if it's within your area.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was missing. That part you just showed at the last. I couldn't remember how to get back into there and see how many times those authors have been cited underneath their specialties. So
Oh, I see. So getting into this area.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I understand where you're talking now. Yeah. So really interesting, can be a rabbit hole. You need to stay focused on whatever you're trying to accomplish at that moment in time, unless you're giving yourself an hour a day to just go down rabbit holes. So I know what I wanted to say to you a few minutes ago about cited bys. They call this a citation chain. So when you're looking at a research article and you look at their whole list of references, that's the backward searching, the backward chasing. So the articles that they used in their research that they cited, those are older articles, right? Articles that have already been done before their article. When we use the cited by feature, we're looking at articles that are newer, articles that have been written, have been research that's been studied after this particular research study, this research publication was done. And that can really be helpful, especially when you have found an older article. So maybe you found an article, it was perfect, but it's 10 years old. Put that article title into Google Scholar and find out who has cited that article since then. That will inevitably lead you to newer research, research that's been carried forward by the work that you found that was 10 years old. Okay, so you really you can find lots of connections with Google Scholar. That's why I love this tool so much. Now, if you click just on the title itself, you're going to go to that where it primarily lives. So it might be a publisher's website. It might be a professional organization's website. And that's why when you have clicked on that before, sometimes it's not available. Sometimes it's not free. So that's why it's so important to let Google Scholar know which libraries you have access to the subscribed content. So you might click on something that is not free, like employee motivation may not be free. Oh, it is free. Okay, somewhere it's free. But you may click on that, it's not free, but you again can click through your full text link on the right-hand side. So I'm assuming that this is a free article, a free version, and I see that the domain is RU, so for Russia. So I'm not even quite sure if this is even, a legal document, if it's copyright compliant. But anyways, the right-hand side is where you're going to get the full text versions of these articles. Google Scholar, is there anything else that you would like me to clarify or touch upon here?
I just want to be cognizant of our time because we
Yep,
are.
we have 1 minute. I just looked at that.
So I think we should actually stop here because we are recording this, so anyone can go back and watch this again, or anyone who's not joining us tonight can go ahead and watch it. But if there are remaining questions, please feel free to reach out to Lisa or me or any of us in the program. But library questions, you're probably better off to go to Lisa because she is such a wealth of knowledge. And Lisa, I can't thank you enough for always being available to do this for this class because it is really helpful to have you here.
It's my pleasure. And it's wonderful meeting with you all one-on-one. It's really nice to be able to help you customize your searches and really figure out the best resources. So please take advantage of that if you feel like you're stuck in whatever area of the process. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you,
Good to
Lisa.
see you
Thank
all.
you, Lisa.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.